So our goal with this story is to highlight the awareness of suicide. So in light of this, could you tell us your story?
Sure. I actually had two kids that came into Liberty, and my youngest one was struggling, and I mean, the story's a lot more complicated, but it really came down to I got a call from one of the school counselors one day and said that my daughter was in her office and was suicidal, and at that point our journey took off like a lightning bolt, you know, of activities with treatment. We did hospitalization 3 different times for various things. As it came to light, a lot of this came around from bullying, and she was also a cutter, and so yeah, that was probably kind of the fast version of the story.
Looking back, was there anything that could be seen as like a cry for help or as a sign that she was needing help in that regard?
When you look back, you can always see the signs. It's when you're in the moment that's the hard part. Part of the signs we saw, there was some bullying going on. There was some cyberbullying with people here at school. It actually started probably in middle school. There were some signs there. You know your kid is struggling when they're not quite fitting in, but then they're real joyful, but when they get home they're real sullen and hiding out in the room kind of a thing, and everybody's always texting. So just the lack of really participating with I guess life is probably the best way to put it.
As a parent, is there anything you would like to tell other parents if they have children going through the same issue?
Don't ignore it. If things are going wrong, you got to engage your kids in conversation. Unfortunately, with teenagers, this is the time when they don't want to talk the most. It's the time when they're trying to stretch their wings and separate from you, but at the same time, you can't let them separate too far. You really have to engage that conversation and really kind of push it on them a little bit. I mean, it's going to be moments of stress because they don't want to talk, but you really have to get them talking and just let them know that it's safe. And if they don't feel safe with you, you need to help them find someone they feel safe with talking with. Know their friends, talk to their friends, know their parents, talk to their parents. It shows up. It just may not show up when the child's at home, but it will show up in school. We were very active in the school here, so we saw our kids participating with other kids in public, and some of that stuff we probably saw, just didn't put the pieces together until we were in a crisis.
So how is your daughter now?
She's doing great. She made it through school. She actually ended up graduating a year early for the most part, and then went and worked, and she sort of found her path in life, which is probably the most important thing we did. Was we stopped pushing her to make a decision about her career choices. And she found her path in life, and now she's actually enrolled in pastry school down in Austin, and she's loving it.
So what would you say to students who have friends that are dealing with depression and suicidal thoughts?
Connect with them. Just make sure you are talking with them. If you see the signs, be willing to report it. Okay, it's hard to do that, but you need to do it. It's important for them. It's important for you. My daughter's journey started because she was making comments to friends who picked up on the pieces that she was putting together, and they actually went in and reported it to a counselor, and that counselor then contacted my daughter's counselor here at Liberty, and that's when I got the phone call, and the rest is a wild story.
How involved was the faculty and the counselors here at Liberty?
They were actually very involved. I mean, there was the normal college guidance stuff and school guidance going on, so we were engaged with my daughter's counselor. We knew her, and we'd actually met with her before. But when this happened, it was definitely a whole new level of activity. And the conversation I ended up having with her counselor, it was rather brief because at that moment we were in crisis, so it was important. I got the phone call when I was at work, and I just left work immediately, came up here, picked up my daughter, and we went straight to Children's Hospital in Plano and had her admitted there. And then at that point we went on to other hospitalizations, 3 total. But when it came right down to it, that's probably where the school counselor part of it ended. Until a few weeks ago when I reconnected back up and kind of filled in the pieces. I felt like I needed to come back and close the loop on that one because It is a story of success. She is doing great now. She just celebrated 3 years of not cutting, I guess about 2 weeks ago. So it's a great story, and I really wanted to come back and close the loop with the counselor here.
So what have you learned from your experience?
As a teenager growing up, for me, it was difficult. I made a lot of bad choices, and I know that now it's not really any different for you guys. It's probably a little more complicated because there's more technology involved, and there's probably a faster pace. The reality is come down to that the teenage years are always going to be a struggle for people. Some people can make a real quick decision what they want to do in life, and some people just need to learn along the way. And it's important to make sure that that opportunity is afforded to every child. And if you press too hard, you get some backlash. And I think we were doing some of that as parents, probably pushing too hard for some kind of a career decision. When in reality, decisions you make at this age, just plan for what you do in the future. I mean, personally, I've actually had 3 different careers. I'm actually in my 3rd one now, and they're all different, and none of them I had to plan for when I was in high school. The plan I had in high school is completely different than what I ended up doing in life. So, I can just tell you, what goes on now is important, but it is still temporary. And what happens in the future is just something you, I don't know what to say, it's just something you get to experience.
Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.